All right, I've seen some questions about PSA Dagger fitting in a Glock 19 holster. You know, they're pretty similar, right? I mean, a lot of Glock parts, why not? Well, I mean, technically, right, it goes in there and it does more or less retain it, but I would not consider this a good fit, right? Here you're seeing the trigger is not seated forward all the way. You're not getting that click. And then there's separation here, and so it's flaring the holster apart because it doesn't really fit as it's meant to. There's some side to side there, right? Block 19, this is how it should actually fit, right? You got the click, it's seated forward all the way. It's not flared here, like it's fitting correctly. And so, and we get a lot of questions too, like the P80, right? Also, basically a Glock, right? No, not really, especially not with all our tolerances. We have pretty tight tolerances. In here, you can see the difference pretty easily, right? All these Glocks have their own sort of like Glock rail here, whereas, you know, this is more traditional pick rail, and the total height here is taller, and so that's why it's not fitting in a Glock holster. Whereas a P80 holster, that's just right how it should. And so, yeah, you know, the Dagger, definitely a lot of similarities, but it's not, at least in Kydex world, and for us specifically, we have tight tolerances, it's really not going to fit well. Some manufacturers out there do a more of a generic one size fits several in Kydex. We don't typically do that. And of course with leather or something else, then that might work. But right, for us in Kydex, guns are really only going to fit the exact model they're designed for. A very, very, very few exceptions. And if anybody ever has questions on whether or not something fits, if we have it in-house here, you know, we'll test it out. So just don't hesitate to ask.